Hey, welcome everyone. We are live. We are recording and everything is moving forward. I see a lot of nice, happy faces here. I am Stephen David Elliot, the founder and creator of Rockstar Connect with Sarah Elliott, my wife, who is a producer today. I am serving as panelist. This is Three Martini Lunch, and we are using the Successes Contagious method in order to bring success to everyone around the United States. Not only are we doing this panel here, it is being broadcast to all of our Facebook groups around the entire country, and we are looking forward to bringing you lots of insight from our fantastic panelists as they join us today. Welcome, everyone. Hi, how have you guys been?
Good.
Great.
Some of you I haven't seen in a while. Hey, John, how are you doing? Ray?
Awesome. Thank you.
Mark Sher's popping in. And so today, if you're watching this in Facebook land and you've never seen the Three Martini Lunch, you've only heard about the Three Martini Lunch, recognize this is about sharing our insights and our success with one another during very different times. Normally, Rockstar Connect would not have been broadcast all over the place. We would be meeting in individual networking events, and we're trying to approximate as close to that experience as possible, the quality of conversations that we have at our events. And you would never guess how many of these we've had so far of the Three Martini Lunch. Domenic, do you want to give it a guess? How many episodes? What number this is?
Let's see. Are we at 20 yet?
You're pretty close. Pretty close. We're at 18. As of today, 18 broadcasts of Three Martini Lunch. And I want you to recognize that when we started this, my hair was completely dark. And yes, it was completely dark, just so you remember. I have lost an entire person weight-wise. Domenic, your hair is still dark. It looks great. Everyone looks terrific today. So let's jump right into it. What I would like to know from our panelists today, just to get warmed up with success, is I'd like to know a little bit about you, and I'd like to know what success you've had in the last week. Now, Michael Arrick, it's his first time being on the panel, so we're going to leave you somewhat near the end so you can absorb what other people are doing. But I'd like you to share the successes that you had, and that success could be something that is personal, it can be business oriented, it is something that you've done for a client, something that has been a success for your tribe or for your nation. We just want to learn about your successes. So let's start off today with Rhonda Sher out in California.
Hey, Stephen. Nice to see you. I love Rockstar. So I'm Rhonda Sher, and I'm a LinkedIn expert. What I do is I actually get people out of what I like to lovingly call the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program, so that you can get found and follow my system to book 2 to 10 appointments a week. And the success that I've had actually was pretty cool. So you can see my new background, my green screen. That's my wall of fame. And those are just a small sampling of my clients that have had amazing success. And I put them behind me. But the success that I had recently was very cool. I don't know if you've ever heard of RATE, radio and television executives. So those are the top 1% of real estate people in the country that use people like Barbara Corcoran to endorse them. So if you've ever seen the radio commercial or the TV commercial that says, hey, if I was going to hire a real estate agent, Steve Elliott would be the guy, Stephen David Elliott would be my guy, I'm Barbara Corcoran, and blah, blah, blah. And they actually have a relationship. So I did a webinar for those real estate agents, and it went extremely well. And so my calendar is getting booked with talking to all of them. And that was really fun, because these are the top 1%. And yet when I looked at their LinkedIn profiles, I was shocked. Like, they literally had no banner, no about section, and yet they're the top of the top. And they have no idea that when someone goes to look at them, that they're not going to have the credibility that they actually should have. So that was my win. And I want your diet because I have gone the opposite way, Stephen. I have actually been eating Bob's Amazing Cooking. And so I've put on the COVID-10. I haven't taken it off. So there you go.
It doesn't show on you. You have
Isn't
to
the
realize
camera great? You can do
Rhonda is
anything with
actually-
Zoom.
besides being, the foremost LinkedIn expert, she is the tallest woman in the world. She actually 7 feet 10 inches, and 10 pounds doesn't even show up on her. So I know you don't like to brag, so I'll just brag for you. Now,
My daughters are not happy that they inherited my big feet. That I will tell you, because I am 5'11". So they are not happy that they have size 11 and size 12 shoes. They still have not forgiven me.
but they don't have to fight, for shoes when they go to the shoe store. When their shoes on sale, that size is available, correct?
Yes,
they
and
make 'em.
also I have a black belt in shopping, so I actually, whenever I see them, I send it to them.
Excellent. That's a good mom. Rockstar Connect, we had a great success last week. We hosted an actual physical 3 martini lunch here in the Raleigh area. And just through word of mouth, we had 70 people attend the event. Our sponsors were fantastic. Our Rockstar Connect hosts that were able to attend had a great time. The entire venue was sanitized. We practiced social distancing. We wore masks. And guess what? We're going to be doing another one on the 3rd Thursday of August, which is the 27th, 11:30 to 1:30. We just released it. We really haven't started promoting it, and people are already signing up. And unfortunately, we are limited in space. We really can't do more than 70 in that spot in order to keep all the COVID-19 social distancing standards. Well, let me go over. Yeah, Sarah's going to drop the link in there so that you can nail a ticket down or get a sponsorship. And we do hope to be able to do these all over the country as areas will allow them to occur. And I understand out in California, they've shut down a little bit, so puts us a little farther out in California. Ray Fuentes out on the West Coast with Rhonda. Actually, I think you and Rhonda in California live less than 20 minutes apart from one another.
Sacramento.
Right? She's in
Oh, no, we're hours apart then.
We're hours apart. Well, I'm completely, absolutely wrong there. But Ray is a Rockstar Connect host. He's been hosting his event for over 2 years now, and he is itching to get into live events again. Tell us about your successes out there, Ray.
Well, I can't speak for the entire country, but here in the Sacramento area, real estate is, the inventory is incredibly low. So my big business success is I was finally able to get a client an accepted offer. We've been submitting offers for a little bit over a month, and multiple offers outbid. People put in all cash or no contingencies, and that is completely unexpected for this year. Up until recently being the last year, there's been forecasts that the real estate market was going to decline, and it's the exact opposite. So I'm learning about change. Having been in the military, I embrace the ability to adapt to new circumstances and succeed. So that's my business success.
What's driving the real estate out there? Lack of inventory, or people wanting to move there out of the city, or?
There's several different things. That's a great question. For example, I'm in Sacramento. It's about 2 hours away from San Francisco. The rent in San Francisco is incredibly high. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. It's crazy. Well, the rent prices have gone down because nobody's renting. People are leaving the city. Inventory is incredibly low, and interest rates are low. So there's just a bunch of things that are happening that make living in the Sacramento area, if you're going to stay in California, a huge advantage in the north here, or central, really.
And all real estate is local. I'm getting a lot of calls for land, handling land recently than I ever have and the people purchasing it really have no firm idea of what they're going to do with the land. They just want to own the land. They're buying it up like crazy. So if you do want stuff in North Carolina, act on it quickly, because I think the rural areas are going to be as expensive as the metropolitan areas soon enough. Mark Sher in Coral Gables, Florida. Give us the state of the nation there, and what has your success been this week?
Well, Florida, Miami is allegedly the epicenter of the COVID virus. However, I don't know anyone who's got it. It's pretty interesting. So what can I tell you? It's very interesting. I was actually listening to the head of the Jackson Health Systems, which is the largest hospital group down in Miami. And one of the things they were talking about is in South Florida, especially in Miami-Dade County, we have a very large number of migrant who work in the fields. And what he was saying was when they get sick, they typically are living in a cabin with 10 to 20 other migrants, and there's no separation. So they were having to rent motel rooms to put the people that were infected to keep it from spreading. It was kind of interesting. And I listened to him, and I spoke to a very close person to me that just got his just became a doctor from the Miller School of Medicine, University of Miami, and he's now in Texas. And he confirmed what people there were saying was one of the interesting things was, and he's not a political person. He says, you have to read the numbers carefully, because when someone comes into the hospital, because now they can get non-emergency surgeries done, and they detect COVID, even if it's not affecting them, they get listed as a COVID patient for the bed report. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
It is sort of interesting, because I remember just about 2 months ago, people were praising Miami-Dade County for doing such a fantastic job as a major metropolitan.
One of the other things they're talking about is that, one of the things that, again, I'm not an expert, but they said that caused New York to explode was that there were a lot of Europeans coming in. We're obviously the gateway to South America. South America is having a brutal time, especially places like Brazil. And where do you think they come? Here. So I don't know that's me or somebody else. I'm pretty sure it's somebody else.
I think it's weird. You're the only one unmuted, but
someone else. Anyway, it's better now.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so my success is, this was kind of interesting, and it was great for me. Someone that became a client of ours about 5-6 years ago, it was a woman who owned a small business. She was divorced, and she wasn't struggling. She just, was a typical person where she, made a good amount of money. She worked to pay her bills, didn't have a lot of disposable income, owned a nice home. And we totally got her out of all of her debt. Now she's set with retirement, and she sold her business. And what did she say? She goes, Mark, I am such a believer in what you do. I'm going to get a license, and I'm coming to work for you. And she basically is ready to go. And she's already got 1 or 2 people to be her, she's got some clients already. So that's kind of a big success for me, is taking someone that we helped, and they were so enthused by it that they saw it as a life-changing opportunity for them to actually want to do what we do and spread the word. So for me, that was very exciting.
Yeah, that is a big win. I find it very exciting, and I'm sure other people on the panel, when you help one of your clients and they say, I want to do what you do, and they actually end up doing it. Become a coach and our financial service person, etc. Thank you so much, Mark. I noticed Jackie is in a car, so let's jump to Jackie right away before she has to drive away in the car. Was that actually a backdrop? Was that not a real car? Unmute yourself, Jackie. Everyone has to unmute themselves, because I'm not going to do it. Go ahead, Jackie.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry for the Golden Gate Bridge backdrop. It's been a busy day, and so I had to stop and just for the record, I am safe. I'm parked. So I'm here. Didn't want to miss this call at all today. So.
Great. I'm going to give you a little bit of help here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your success as a host of the 3 Martini lunch last week?
It was a phenomenal event. I mean, everything it was so well put together. And in the short period of time, I believe you told me you only had 2 weeks to make that happen. Well, I've never seen an event under these type of circumstances where every single detail was thought out, even down to the service at the restaurant. It was an amazing event, very effective, incredible people there sharing of themselves or giving of themselves. It was beautifully done, and I just am so happy that I could be a part of it. And I look forward to the next one because that was amazing.
Well, thank you for being a sponsor of the event. We really enjoyed you being there, and we love the pictures that you put out as well. Everyone was
thank you.
Masks and socially distanced, and it was a great message for people in the community. 100%.
It was just really a well done event. It was lovely, and just everything was great. The food was great. The conversation was even better. And it was just a well thought out event.
Thank you. I think it's something we really needed. People, I'll let Clint talk about how the people are reacting. He was working the room at the event. I'll get to him in a second and let him share that. But Sarah has dropped the link in. She'll drop it again. So if anyone wants to get their tickets and have their sponsorship opportunities, they can do so. Hey, Clint, how you doing? We usually have you at the end, so I'm happy to have you at the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your success for the week.
Sure. So my name is Clint Webb. I work for Coeco Alpha Systems. So we do managed print services, small managed IT jobs. We also, main business obviously is multifunctional printers, scanners, fax, even for your home. So we do smaller machines for your desktop, for your house, since most people are going to be working from home now. My success for the week is this shirt that I'm wearing, actually. Haven't ever in my adult life been in a medium-sized shirt. And I am now by 0.4 pounds, the lightest I've ever been in my life, as far as an adult goes, so that's amazing. And the event was insane. So the people, they were all welcoming. Chris Rogers did an amazing job. So start with him and Sullivan Steakhouse. They did an amazing job. And let's see, everybody said how much fun they had, how many people they met that they've never met before. And I think that is the biggest success because a lot of us all know each other, especially around the Triangle. And as you said, man, people drove from Lake Gaston, people drove from Charlotte, we had all kinds of people there. I remember somebody saying something, talking to somebody that said they talked to somebody that was a rodeo clown in a previous life. And so, just from all walks of life, the people that were there, it was absolutely amazing. And I'm sorry that you out-of-towners had to miss that. But hopefully you guys get to have one of those events in your local area because I wouldn't have wanted to spend the day any other way. So Stephen, thank you to you and Sarah for doing it, for hosting it, for putting it together, and Jackie and all the other sponsors. It was absolutely amazing.
Thank you. Jeff Messers of NReach made a great video of the event. So we'll be popping that in during the next 3 Martini lunch. We'll be putting that online so everyone could see themselves and their friends in the video. Michael Arrick in New York, also in a car.
Yeah, I just found out somebody's sick, so I got to change of plans. But yeah, I appreciate you having me here. Thanks, Stephen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry someone's ill. What was your success this week? I know that you're always a very positive person. What have you been able to achieve?
When it all comes down to, it's not about you. It's people.
Michael, I'm
And in
sorry.
today's world right now, you know, what you know until they find out how much you truly care. Like,
Could you mute him out? Hey guys, I'm sorry. Michael's having some technical
copy.
difficulties. We'll try to get back to him a little bit later. I know he has some great things to say. John Doorn out in Michigan, welcome.
Thank you, Stephen David Elliot. Nice to see you. Nice to see some new faces here and the panelists. Thanks, as always, for having me.
I understand you had a successful event.
We did have yeah, you know, I was nervous and like, what's it going to be like? But boy, we changed venues and it was a home run. Little smaller crowd than what we, you know, would have liked to have, but for a first time back on the saddle and in the saddle, it was, you know, a great event. So grateful for that. And we've got another one coming up next week. So
Well, I can't wait to hear about that. And what successes have you had for yourself or your clients, John?
Much like Ray, we're and probably most of the country, we're in a crazy market, multiple offers, over asking price. So it's hard to be a buyer right now here in Grand Rapids. I recently, in fact, even this morning, maybe Ray knows how this works, but sometimes houses sell houses. I don't sell houses. I negotiate, I write contracts, I help, but sometimes in your soul, you know who's the right buyer for the house. And in my soul, I knew that there was a house that my buyer, it was perfect for. And sometimes they need to catch up to it, and they caught up to it. And I was able to put a buyer and a seller off market today. So grateful for that. And then I would say I was given the book Ask as a book that I should read. And I'm about halfway through it. And I'm grateful that someone mentioned that book to me to read, because I'm absolutely loving it.
It's who's the author of that?
I'll put it in the comments. I don't remember, but I'm probably halfway through and it's a home run already.
Excellent, because that's something that a lot of givers don't know how to do. They don't know how to ask.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we can all use that book.
I'll put it in the comments.
Great. Brian McNeil, glad you could join us today.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
We're doing great. You know, I didn't realize you're actually in Charlotte. I thought you were here in the Triangle.
Actually, I used to live in the Triangle for like 23 years. I still have 2 ex-houses in the Triangle with my ex-wives there. And all my children still lives there. So I'm there often enough.
Great. So it's been we haven't seen you since last week. What successes have you had for you and your clients?
You know, I've heard a few different comments today, and I think what I would count as my biggest success is just stabilization that's come. Because, you know, when COVID-19 hit, you know, I had to pivot a lot of my business. I wasn't traveling anymore. So what I say the stabilization is now is, you know, the online workshops that we do are stabilized. Monday night sales mastery, Wednesday night selling your services academy. Plus we do our daily show Monday through Friday from 9 to 10. The stabilization has kept us profitable and better than profitable. And people know where to find us now. And it's just been great.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Brian. It almost feels like all these opportunities are arising, and now we're trying. It's back to sort of like, let's see, what am I going to do? Is this the right way to continue going? Should I pivot here? Now I have skills that I didn't know I had that people are willing to pay me for.
It's amazing how many more podcasts you could take part in now when you're not even thinking about going. So now I'm scheduling myself. I'm doing a lot more podcasts, and I've been on some national panelist discussions as the national sales guy, the guy who writes the books on how to sell your services. So I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm this close to doing what Les Brown said of not getting on planes anymore. So we'll see.
Very cool. I've seen him around a lot during COVID.
Yes, but he's not flying anywhere.
See him around more than I have in decades.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Domenic here in Raleigh.
Yes, sir. How are you doing this week, Stephen?
I'm doing well. I saw you had a really good weekend.
I had an awesome weekend, but it probably not as awesome as that amazing event we had on Thursday. That was really incredible to see everybody out, everybody social distancing. people just really enjoying the opportunity to get to chat face to face with folks in a safe and sanitary environment, and just forget about COVID for a little bit and enjoy the opportunities that we had in front of us. So that was pretty incredible. Thank you, Steve, and thank you, Sarah, for making that happen. I'm looking forward to the next one.
And I'm hoping the next one's even better.
Yes, it should be. Although I'm not sure how much better you can get than a completely full event pulled off in 2 weeks in an amazing venue with just some of the best people in all the Triangle and from beyond. So I know a lot of you from outside the area, but if you have the wherewithal to make it down to the Triangle at the end of August, I highly recommend you come out for the event. Let's see. So introduce myself. I think I've already done that plenty here, but if you don't know me, my name is Domenic Battistella. I'm an advisor with New York Life, and I work in the business-to-business market. We can talk more about that in the chat if you'd like, but I'll get to the success from this week. I'm gonna do two. One is I just had a podcast that was released today, which was the actually on the Girls Who Do Stuff podcast. That was interesting. That was a full hour with Jenny Midgley and Sarah. Your lovely wife, Sarah, is also been recorded for that podcast, which will be coming out soon. But my episode got dropped today. And then the other success would be we're very, very near the completion of the Speakeasy. The pictures look great. What you don't see already is that the draft beer tap got installed last night. So I've got a little event this evening, a couple of special guests coming over to the house, one of them being Mr. Clint Webb, and we're going to enjoy the first official draft beers at the Speakeasy. So I'm looking forward to that.
What's your first keg?
And Sarah would like to know, what's the first keg you're tapping?
So any of you Charlotte folks will know this beer very, very well. It's Old Mecklenburg Brewing's Copper. And if you know anything about Old Mecklenburg Brewing right now, they do not distribute outside of the Charlotte market because they are up against the production caps for self-distribution. So they have limited their distribution to just the Charlotte market. So nobody in the Triangle has that beer on draft, period, even though it's one of the most popular beers in the state. The only place you can get that on draft in the whole Triangle is H&D Speakeasy.
Well, that's very exciting.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dr. Holly.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome back. And please
Thank
share
you.
your success with us.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Holly Sullenger. My company is Dr. Holly Speaks, and normally I do corporate speaking, training, consulting, facilitation in the areas of leadership, professional development, and technology. So typical day for me now, instead of getting in my car or flying on a plane, I sit down at my computer, much like we're all doing right now, and a company will come to me with a group of engineers or a group of business analysts or what have you, and we work whatever they want to work through, which is always a lot of fun. But my big, I guess, success this last week, I was recently asked to be a board vice chair for a foundation called Shining the Light in Darkness. It's one of Ed Dudley's and Florida Dudley's projects. But it's a foundation to help women who have experienced domestic violence or sexual abuse. And it's to basically not only help the women, but also inform the public and educate the public about how to know that they're seeing this in front of them and what to do with it once they do see it. And the cool thing is I've been helping them pull together a curriculum that we can take around to college campuses and other places to make people aware of these problems. And the very first large university approved it. So we're going to start delivering that this fall, which I'm very excited about.
Congratulations. Very cutting edge online and all of that.
Yeah.
Katie, and then we're going to go to Katia, and then we're going to have our sponsor join us.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you today?
Good to see you all. So I to introduce myself, I'm Katie Blomquist. I'm the founder and executive director of the nonprofit Going Places. We provide new custom bikes to every single child at once in the low-income elementary schools and big surprise bike reveals. And that's obviously been affected right now, but we're still hoping for something to be able to do something this fall or winter. And I also have an online course through an LLC where I teach people how to start and grow their own nonprofits from the ground up. So I take you through the first 7 months, taking all the guesswork out for you. There's 18 lessons total. I provide every document you may need, including your board agenda for all your board meetings and that kind of stuff. So take all the guesswork out since people have busy lives. And I also do professional speaking on this in addition to that. And my biggest success, I've actually had last week and this week have been really, really, really slow. I haven't had that much work to do. I feel like everyone I know is in the Outer Banks. I don't know why there, but like everyone.
This weekend, yeah.
What's that?
I was there this weekend selling.
Were you? Gosh, like everyone I know, it's weird. But everyone's on vacation of some sort, renting houses, like a beach house with their family somewhere, and just getting out of town. So it's been very slow for me, but we did get some bad news where we're losing our office space that was gifted to us because the company realized they can work remotely permanently. So we have about a month to probably get out, and that's a whole other thing. But I was on our local Fox News called News Now, their midday show. They pre-recorded it today, and it will air on the 30th here locally to promote. We have a big fundraiser campaign for the entire month of August called the Joy Outreach Team, where we have 8 people in town who are fundraising on our behalf. I've helped them create either virtual or some social distancing fundraisers for that month. So one of the news anchors, the host of that show, was one of the people fundraising for us. So she had me on her show to talk about it. That was something positive. Probably the only thing that's happened in the past week that's been positive, but I'll take it.
So if there's someone out there listening to this who may have access to gifted office space in Charleston, should they connect with you?
Yes, we definitely need something downtown, Mount Pleasant, or like West Ashley. I need to make it convenient. That's where I do all my business and all my meetings and where my interns are. It's just, things have popped up that are a little bit too far away. I'm not going to drive 45 minutes when I'm there back and forth, constantly in and out of the office. But yes, I just need one room. If anyone has anything like that willing to do on trade for sponsorship, we would love that.
Great. So everyone, you have a mission. Let's find some space.
Yes, please. I'll put that in the chat too.
Excellent. Thank you. Michael, do you want to see if you're working now? Do you think you're in a good spot for speaking?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I appreciate you having me on the call. I'm excited about what you guys do and how you guys do it. So it's kind of good,
Well, what's real cool about Michael is when Michael became a host, and I'll jump right back to you. He says, I just believe in Rockstar Connect. I want to host an event. I'm not trying to really monetize this in any way. I just want to help people in my community. And he's been, leading his event with that mission. But with that being said, go ahead, Mike. Tell us about yourself and a little bit about your success this week.
Yeah, so I'm nobody special. My name's Mike Arrick. I'm a real estate agent in New York and Florida. And, I love selling houses. But at the end of the day, the houses don't sell themselves. So a real estate broker came to me one day and said, Mike, do you look for other ways of making money? And this business that I'm working with now, besides selling real estate, just exploded. And it's due to the home-based business. It's due to the COVID. Everybody's working from home. Everybody's making residual income, passive income. So I do that. And then I'm also a real estate agent in New York, in Dutchess County, New York, which is about 100 miles north of New York City. And it's really starting to change. I just heard people can't get, offers. We have all new problems now. The mortgage company can't call you back. The prices are over, the banks can't get to the appraisals, can't run the prices that, they're coming in too low. So the deals are falling apart there. So all the problems that we never had, we have now. So, when it comes to selling real estate, there's a lot to it. And if you break it all down per hour, it's like $10 an hour. So, You got to have a lot of deals in the pipeline. You got to really, know how to work this Facebook advertising and Facebook leads and all this new technology that's out there. So I'm just watching what's happening, and all the, New York City. I was down in New York City just recently, and my eyes I went down to Grand Central Station and I went to get something to eat, and there was nobody there. There wasn't one person, and there was no restaurants, only one restaurant. So I don't know if you've been to Grand Central Station, but that right there made me realize that we're in a serious situation. So,
I mean, you have no
I'm
more
glad you guys.
Broadway, in New York. That probably cuts out a lot of reasons why people want to go there and everything else.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Observation that's very interesting. When someone's from New York, they always tell you they're from New York, but they're the last people that really have to tell you they're from New York, because we can all tell you're from New York.
Yeah.
You see that?
No, it's definitely. Yeah. When people say they're from New York, I always say I'm from New York, 100 miles north of New York City, because when I say I'm from New York, people think I'm from New York City. And I'm not from the Bronx, I'm not from Manhattan, I'm not from any of there. I'm from upstate New York. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different world. So everybody down there had to live down there. They had to live in New Jersey. They had to live nearby because they had to be. Now they don't need to be on location. Name up here, we're us. So it's just funny. The whole cities are definitely, not, nobody's going to be living there. Everybody wants, peace and quiet.
Hey, Mike, we're going to cut from you because you're starting to go into a bad zone again, but we really appreciate you, and you live in a beautiful part of the country. And this show, that's really another advantage of the show. A lot of the Rockstar Connect hosts, thanks, Mike, are real estate agents. They're all over the country. And as you can see by the agents that are on today, Sacramento, California, really great place to live. Grand Rapids, I've visited there. Hudson Valley, I visited. These are wonderful places. So if you're looking for other places to work remotely from, you couldn't go wrong calling these gentlemen. People are always wondering why Katia has to go last. But I always like what she has to say, and she puts a good exclamation point on the conversation. So, Katia, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're doing a lot of exciting things. And also, what is your success and observation of everybody else's success here in the room?
Well, I love what everybody shared. And if you don't know me by now, my name is Katia. I'm a business coach. I always joke that I speak 3 languages. I speak French, English, and money. One of the things that I do with my client is I help them to create a money plan with using public speaking as a tool, to grow their business. But this week I actually had 2 huge success then who really summon in one. And it's summoning to, we don't realize even now with COVID, how we're so out of routines and we still get into a routine. And it really came through with one of my friend, another business coach. His name is Scott Moore. He's in a triangle. And last Wednesday, he posted, then he had decided that he was going to feed 5,000 kids, 5,000 families. And he just posted that on his Facebook. And I put it up here because I don't want to mess it up. It was in 3 hours, he wanted to raise $5,000. And I got tagged. I maybe got tagged by Domenic. I actually don't remember if it was, I got tagged by Domenic to donate. And I am going to be very honest with you. I was just like, I was in the middle of work and I have been slammed with work. And I was just like, okay, I don't have time for, I don't have time for this. And then I kind of checked back in. It was like, if I don't have the time to read a post who's that important, what am I really working for? So I, kind of did a recheck and read it and decided to donate. Now I donate, I have my bank go on direct deposit to where I donate every month. So that was totally out of my routine, right? And I decided to donate. And this is the best thing that happened to me last week. In 3 hours, we all raised, by tagging other people and more people, $85,000. 2,000 meals. Just because a guy woke up that morning and said, hey, we're gonna feed people today. And it just was a chain. We all tagged each other and people came in after the 3 hours. And it really made me realize then, for me, even with my charity, I'm into a routine. It just gets drawn out of my bank account. I do my part. And I was just like, I kind of need to change that. When is the last time I challenged myself onto, my own routine on that? So I decided to do that. I was like, well, what about my work? Right? As a business coach, I challenge my client to do this all the time. And I was like, I'm challenging myself on the places I want to challenge myself, but what about the places and I don't want to challenge myself, right? So I decided to call people that were not leads, who've been, that I haven't talked to in a while, then who are definitely not leads. And I talked to a woman that I haven't talked to in 3 years. And I actually closed her just like that. I just called and I say, hey, all I wanted to do was like, hey, how's your business going? If there's any tip that I can give you. And she was just like, I'm so happy you called. She was like, this is a perfect time. I need you. And it just shows then we never know what success look like. We never know when we get outside of that routine that we put ourselves on, no matter if we are business coaches of all. So I would challenge everyone to just kind of like, where have we been falling short? And it was a cool week for me for that. And therefore I passed it on, of course, to my clients.
That was pretty cool what was going on. Also, what you're saying is so true. And I spoke about this with Todd yesterday, our sponsor, and we're going to get to him in just 1 second. A lot of people are saying yes now and are open to things that were never open to a conversation before. Mm-hmm. And literally, I feel like I'm getting on phone calls and people are dying for ideas and they're looking for collaboration and they're willing to put their money where their mouth is. So, money that might have been spent elsewhere before COVID is now still there. It still needs to be spent, but it can't be spent for traditional things. So if you have really good ideas on how to help people build their business or to increase their wealth or to increase their network, like Todd does, now's your opportunity to do it. And I've spoken to so many of you, and you're all telling me exactly the same thing. So this is all over the country. Hey, Todd, we're going to unmute you. Is Doug in the same room with you, or are you guys like at a distance where we can put you both on at once? Doug, why don't you unmute yourself too?
We're at a distance.
Okay, great. I say that because when people are in the same house and they go on a Zoom call, it is about the worst, most uncomfortable, terrible sound on the face of the earth. Who would agree with that?
But we're both on the Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, so you're both you're out on the west. Where are you right now? What part of the country? Like, where's Waldo?
Waldo is in Temecula, and Doug is in Phoenix.
You're in Temecula right now. So, Rhonda, how far away are you from Todd? What address are you at, Todd?
I don't know the address here. It's at the HomeSmart office off of. I really don't know.
Todd, we're really close. We're about 10 minutes apart.
Well, then we should shake hands before the day is up or tomorrow 1.
Hey, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
That would be fantastic.
Okay, so the first connection of the show today, Todd, I think Rhonda's going to blow your mind. All the type of people you wanted to connect with yesterday that you were asking me about, Rhonda can make those introductions if she likes you. Okay,
that sounds good.
Treat her very well. Maybe you should buy the cup of coffee.
I'll be sure and wear an extra bit of deodorant.
Okay, well, it's 100 and some odd degrees out there. That's probably not a bad idea. So Todd is the Chief Visionary Officer of Referral Book. Referral Book has been the sponsor of the 3 Martini Lunch, as you know, for the last several weeks. And we really appreciate that they've helped us bring our message of connecting all over the country. But yeah, that's their primary purpose of their business, is connecting. Referral Book is a new way of networking. It's a fantastic tool. It's a piece of technology. Todd, why don't you give us a little bit of a pitch here on how the panelists and the people that are watching this program can utilize Referral Book?
So, Stephen, thank you, and thanks for everybody. If I yawn, if you saw me yawning, I have kept my body on Eastern Standard Time, and it's it's really starting to take a toll on me. So, if I swear or anything, you'll forgive me, please. Referral Book is an online virtual platform to help people do virtual online referral networking. I'm sure of this. Everybody that's on this call, by their nature, are natural networkers. Referral Book is an application, a technology that can help manage those relationships and manage the referral transaction of the relationship building. And for those people who are not on this call that you'd like to see move their game up to a higher level, Referral Book is a great process to help those people who are not natural networkers to up their game in networking. And we're seeing that adopted all over the country right now for that very reason.
How much time do you need to dedicate to Referral Book?
Well, so I'm going to break it into two pieces, Stephen. I'm going to break it into the beginning, because I think that the key is to get the ball off the ground quickly. And if you were to give Referral Book 3 to 4 hours a week for 2 or 3 weeks, then once you have your foundation, we call it the Fast Five, once you have your foundational group of non-competitive referral partners involved, and you help train them a little bit about what we're doing, all of a sudden you can get into the business of managing a commercial referral circle that will give you referrals. And you can probably get away with 25 minutes a day. But what are you doing in that 25 minutes a day? Nothing more than you should be doing every day in the first place. You're just doing it on a more processed basis, one that creates intent. So we do these things automatically, Stephen, because we're natural networkers. But ultimately, we're changing it into a process that creates intentional referral building. And that's what I think Referral Book does a great job with, is creating intentional referrals.
Excellent. So you've been doing some networking yourself. You've been on a U.S. tour. It started off in a trailer, and I think now you have a U-Haul because your trailer broke down.
I wouldn't say broke down. I would say totaled. For those of you in the property and casualty business, we did not have a wreck. We just saw the thing disintegrate as I pulled it down the road. And I wound up leaving North Carolina, driving about 2,250 miles, and ultimately leaving it parked in Lake Havasu, Arizona. And yes, now I have a U-Haul. I loaded that U-Haul in 113 degrees for 3 hours, 6 bottles of water, and I'm here in wonderful Temecula today, and it's a lot nicer.
So basically the vehicle melted is what you're saying.
Pretty much.
And what type of meetings have you been taking? Like, what type of introductions can you make to some of our panelists? Because you have been meeting a lot of interesting and important people around the country.
I've been meeting with broker owners of a national real estate firm all over the country. I'm sitting in one of their offices right now here in Temecula. And, we create relationships with them, but ultimately we bring the trainings to their agents. Our goal is for an agency, everybody who has a real estate agency has a bell curve. Our goal is to take that bell curve and move it forward 5 to 15% over the next 2 years.
Well, one of the reasons why we have Todd and Doug on today, and especially Todd, is, especially Doug, is Todd and I had a discussion, and he really wants to do some one-on-ones over the next 2 or 3 months with some of the panelists on our show to help them get started with their circles and make sure that they have optimum success. So Todd, who should they be contacting, you or Doug?
Either, but I would say Doug's in front of that one, and that's Doug at referralbook.com. Doug, can you speak up so your face will show up above mine?
Yeah, Doug, if you could tell them a little bit about how you're going to help them out and give them a little bit of training.
So absolutely. So one of the things that, we are in the process of doing, and actually have had a couple really good meetings recently. Had one earlier today where, we're reaching out, connecting with, Todd's starting the introduction, for lack of a better term, getting a referral book in, and then we take it from there with our referral coaches and really expand it and work one-on-one with the circle builders. And I think a lot of things that we're seeing right now is there's, this coronavirus, I came here in Arizona the first part of July, and things were going well, and we were opening things back up, and now we're kind of seeing a revert of that, and things are starting to close back down a little bit, gyms and bars and that type of thing. But so we're being creative with the Zoom meetings and really just trying to see how we can interact. And I think that's the piece that we can leverage with this group is really trying to work with you. As Todd indicated earlier, you're natural networkers. And so the challenge with this group may not be as challenging as it is with some of the realtors that are not natural networkers. And so, giving them ideas on how to build out their circle, giving them ideas as to who their centers of influences are, that sphere of influences and those types of things. So those are some of the things that my team or our team is working on as we're working with this referral coaches is what we really label that as. And so, I think this group, being as Todd indicated, it really brings a process to referrals, and I think that's what's important. Is it starts thinking more as a group and as a circle, really more so than a group, but as a circle in regards to some of the things that we're trying to accomplish. So
let me add something to that, Doug. Because we've got what I would call a great group of natural networkers on here. The one thing that I find on, and I found it in my career in sales, is that we build relationships, we participate in a lot of different programs and processes to build those relationships, and then we go and hope that somebody thinks of us. We've made the connection, now we're in the hope process. We try to eliminate the hope process. We try to turn the hope process into an intentional process where those relationships that you built become referrals because of the referral book process.
Excellent. Who do you see here, Todd? I mean, you've been on the panel a couple times. You've interacted with some of these people. Who here do you want to connect with?
So I would say, Stephen, anyone who makes a living off of, in a perfect world, makes a living off of referrals. There's a lot of people who would like to be receiving referrals. We can help. There's a lot of people who are making their living off of referral leads, which are the best leads in the world. We can help because we can produce an intentional process that will amp that game up significantly.
And I think the other thing I would add, and I apologize, Stephen, for interrupting you, but I think the other thing is a lot of times, with a lot, we're right now, our vertical market right now is the realtors. And what we're finding with realtors is there are some that are natural networkers, and a lot of them, there are some realtors that you talk to that, 85 to 90% of their individual business is coming off of referrals already. I think one of the other areas that I see value in is really building another level of income stream. And that level of income stream can come from referrals. And so not only I think, referral book can help on the front end, but I think it also can help those individuals that want to attack another level of income stream, and that income stream being referrals.
Excellent. Who here on the panel wants to raise their hand, wants to talk with Doug sometime this week? Rhonda wants to speak with you. Clint wants to speak with you. John, everyone else is too busy. They don't want to speak with you. Mark wants to speak with you. Jackie, so we'll facilitate some of these.
Mike, Eric.
And Mike wants to speak
Mike.
with you. Mike would be killer at this, 100%. And Rockstar Connect wholly endorses referral book and recommends that you make it part of your business, because there are not a lot of networking tools out there. I mean, we're great networkers, but we have to put together our own systems. It's nice when there's something out there that's tested, that works, that we can network more efficiently. And that's one of the things with Rockstar Connect. It's about hosting networking events efficiently. Here is how to do the follow-up efficiently and make sure that you're servicing your sphere of influence. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show. I know you're having a brutal tour in that hot weather, and you really just hit the ground running. While we were all stuck at home, you were seeing the whole country. Who is planning trips, by the way? Sarah and I are getting ready to start to plan a trip.
Actually, I fly tomorrow.
Where are you going?
To Chicago, but not to the city, way north, almost to Wisconsin, in a small suburb called Grays Lake, to see my cousin's baby is turning 2. So it's really important to me that I don't miss that. So I've been massively, South Carolina is like number 3 in the world for COVID cases right now. So I have not been out in the mix. I've been pretty isolated for the most part to not be sick, but I have a face shield with my mask to wear in the airplane. Everyone's like, that seems excessive. I'm like, I am covering up. I have wipes everywhere, Clorox wipes, and I'm ready.
Is it going to be fashionable? That's the question.
I'll post several photos of it, so you will all see if you follow me on any of my personal social media.
So we would like
You're going to look like a ninja, Katie.
I'm sure I will. I almost considered wearing glasses, but even though I don't wear glasses, just as additional protection. I'm so crazy about it.
Information is really powerful now, especially since it combats fear. So that's why I really appreciate, Mark sharing all that information about South Florida from us in Miami. And Katie, so next week, if you could remind us about your trip and how the travel was. For some of us, that's the only way we're going to know about it. So
right.
Please share that with us next week.
Yeah.
And where are you going, Katia?
I am going to Oriental. It's right outside of Oriental, I think you guys say it. It's right outside of New Bern. I used to have a house in New Bern, and that's an area that I love. So Monday to Friday, I don't have time to take really vacation. So I decided I was going to go and work at the beach. And then 2 weeks later, I'm going to Luray in the mountains of Virginia. And I'll do the same. I'll go work from Monday to Friday there.
Excellent. Sarah and I, we had a conversation, was it 2 nights ago, Sarah, where we said, you know what, we can really work from anywhere. We really can. Let's start planning some trips. So we're looking to go down to Florida around Thanksgiving and see family. And it's funny because we went to go look at the flights, and the flights were extremely inexpensive, but then we saw that they have enormous layovers now. So to go down to Jacksonville, it would take us 7 hours by plane and 6.5 hours by car. So we decided we're going to do car because it feels just a little bit more safe. And then of course we have a car when we go there. So anyone who's going to be traveling, we're going to want to know about that. Bring it to the group. We are starting our second hour, and of course, we're going to have our famous topic that I'm going to ask all of you about the topic. And we have new people that are coming in. I see Jenny and Diego and Tiffany, and we haven't seen Tiffany in a long while. If you could drop the question into the chat, the topic of the week, Sarah. So this is a great, hi, Norma.
Hi.
So we have a great topic this week. So basically, we have a situation where graduation is come and gone. And one of the things that I always loved about graduation that I would see on social media and hear on different podcasts, it seems like we just totally missed completely. If someone is not muted, if you could mute yourself for just a moment, and we'll all unmute ourselves individually. What happened to all those posts about advice you're going to give graduates? What advice would you give graduates of today? They've just sort of missed out. They haven't had that opportunity. So what I'm going to go around today, if you haven't had a chance to introduce yourself, this is your chance to introduce yourself. And then I would like to hear what advice do you give to today's graduates in light of everything that's going on in the world? And I'm going to start off with Diego, because it's always fun putting him on the spot, because I've yet to be able to unnerve him yet in any conversation. Diego Munoz, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and what advice you would give a graduate today.
Stephen, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here, and great to see so many familiar faces and amazing rock stars in this group. I'm a commercial realtor with KW Commercial. I operate out of North Carolina, specifically in the Triangle area, but do business all over the state and refer business literally all over the world. So I'm grateful to be here and contribute. So great question. It's actually one, I apologize, you're not unnerving me. It's one that I use in the coaching that I do, because I also do high-level soccer coaching. What I will tell the kids is very clear, not much different than what I tell them when they're trying to play high-level sports. You're going to get knocked down. You don't know that you're going to survive until you get back up. And honestly, some of you may have heard that before from a Rocky movie. I think Sylvester Stallone, he stole it from me. I just want you to know that. I've been saying that for over a decade or more. But it's true. You know, the only way you know how strong you are is when you can get up from when you get knocked down. And watching these young people recognize that is quite amazing, to see their self-esteem and their strength and just their understanding of what they can accomplish is really quite extraordinary. Many of them of which I hope to someday work for.
Excellent. Thank you. And I didn't unnerve you. You did a wonderful job. Tommy Epsicopo down in Jupiter, Florida. We haven't seen Tommy in a few weeks. We're so happy to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'd like to know a little bit about what you do, and also what advice would you give to a graduate today? And I think that probably those overlap for you.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you fine.
Okay, great. Well, what advice would I give to a graduate today? I can tell you that hard work beats talent when talent won't work hard. So whatever it is you decide to do, put your mind in. So I'm not a real believer in a big 4-year college degree anymore. I'm just not. I think they've oversold that. I just think someone with a great idea, a plan, and a work ethic to go with it can be successful enough. You don't need the paperwork to say that, you know, you are who you say you are. As a matter of fact, I think it's a hindrance. So what I do, and my passion has become, is helping people relieve their biggest problem, which is their debt, and businesses, individuals to self-finance, and never really have to go to a bank again. And that's a big thing today. That's a really big thing. So work hard, believe in what you do. If you don't believe in it, get out of it. You might as well love it. I'll give you a quote from Steve Jobs, who's a real big inspiration to me. He said one time, if you're going to start a business, you're going to have a lot of passion for that business. And you have to sustain that passion over a long period of time, because any sane person would just give up. And that's true. So believe in what you're doing, have passion for it, and go for it. You don't need all the rest of the stuff. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
100%. And what about graduates with that?
Well, oddly enough, I have a lot of graduates that come to me. They can't find a job. They can't find a job right now. So I kind of tell them, just, whatever it is you went to school, whatever it is that you're doing, just get behind it. 6 figures a year is not just going to fall in your pocket. You're going to have to do something to go out there and get it. If you're willing to work hard and you're willing to put the time in, you can come and work for me. If you don't want to work, I'm not the guy to come and work for. Go find somebody else. I can lead you to the water. I can show you what to do. I think we have some of our guys on the call. Bob Hayek's on the call. He'll tell you, You know, I practice what I preach. I'm up every morning at my desk by 8 o'clock, working 24/7. We're open. We never close.
Hey, Tommy, so you brought up an excellent point. I know that you've spoken on the show and said that some of people, your clients have actually sent their kids to work for you.
That's right.
Is there any opportunities for some graduates to, if they have the right attitude, to reach out to you?
There is. There's plenty of opportunity. It's there. I think you couldn't be getting involved with a better concept at a better time with the right people around you than now. I mean, people are going to need help. They need help. If you put that out in the forefront and you don't think about your paycheck every week, you just think about the people you're helping, you'll be successful.
100%. Thank you so much.
Funds for the clients. Yeah.
Sarah's going to drop Tommy's information out there. If you know of any graduates who are interested in finance and helping other people, Tommy would be a good person to speak to. He's going to set them straight if they think that, $100,000 is just going to fall in their lap. So if you have a graduate that needs to be learn a lesson about life, we'll connect them with Tommy. Greg McDaniel out in California. We're always happy when you're on. It's been a few weeks. Glad to have you back. If you could tell everyone a little bit about yourself. And then the question this week is, what advice would you have for a graduate? And, I think a real estate agent can give a lot of advice to a graduate today.
Thanks for having me back, Stephen. I appreciate it. Guys, my name is Greg McDaniel. I'm a real estate agent of almost 21 years here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I joined my father's team. He's been an agent for 48 years in 3 different states, a broker, top producer at every company he's ever stepped foot into. So I joined it. I've been doing it for, like I said, nearly 21 years. Love marketing, love to try new, weird, crazy things. I'm the co-host and co-creator of Real Estate Uncensored, which you guys can't really see, but it's back there. It's a podcast for real estate agents where we go deep on training, coaching, and inspiration for them so they can get out there and be the best they possibly can with a zero-cost basis. My advice to graduates, I don't have kids, so I'm not the best resource for this. The one thing I would say is don't stop being social. That doesn't mean playing Minecraft or Warcraft or whatever the youngins are playing these days. It means actually go out and actually spend time with another human being. Obviously observe all social distancing, be safe while you do it during COVID. But just don't stop being human. Don't hide behind a screen, either a big one or a small one. That's my phone. And just consistently build and develop relationships. So many folks we're anticipating a big drop off with being socialized. The issue with humans, we find a reason and a way to hide behind our cameras, our computers, our blogging, and because we don't get rejected that way. People need to learn how to get rejection. It builds character, builds morale, because when you get rejected in a personal dating relationship or in a business relationship, you'll see your friends come around you in they'll circle the wagons, and you'll be able to see who you truly can rely on. Your friends on Facebook, your friends on Instagram, your friends on, whatever you pick the social media site. Look, they're acquaintances at best. They're not true friends. If someone says, "Hey man, I need you to meet me at 7-Eleven with $10,000 and a shovel at midnight," who are you going to call? That's a friend. Right? And being social and learning how to interact with another human is critical. And I'm afraid to see where that's going to go if the stay at home continues, if the, not allowing the kids to go live a kid life, like have birthday parties. I mean, this is something important. So as a graduate, this is what I'd say. Don't hide, be social, be educated as well. Don't allow this as a time to slack off. Go to YouTube U. Have you ever heard of YouTube U, where you have all these different universities that allow all these courses, for free from, Ivy League schools? Go on Audible, get an account there for $15, listen to a book or two a month. Talk to intelligent people, continue the educational growth and become the best version of you. Don't slack. Don't allow yourself to just like, well, the world's shut down. I guess I can go eat Cheetos and, play video games. This is when you double down on education. This is when you double down on getting together with a friend and go for a walk. This is when you get together with someone on Facebook or Instagram that liked your story or something, and hit them up with a private message going, "Hey, Steve, haven't talked to you for a while, brother. How's life? Want to go for a walk? Want to go hang out? Go to the dog park? Get out there. Continually being human. Continue your education. because I know for myself, I read and listen to podcasts every single day, and I learn something, one little nugget a day. That's it. There's a great podcast that I love a lot. It's called 2000books.com or 2000 books. Let me make sure I get that right for you guys. And it's this Audible. I'm going to pull up my library here so I make sure I say it right. Yeah, I think it's 2000 books. It's a podcast. I'm sorry. So give me 2 seconds and I'll grab it. It's a very bright book. Yep, there it is, 2000 books. And it's this Indian gentleman who goes out and he's read over 2000 books and he gives very short, like cliff notes of all these books, just the high points, not the fluff that the editors want, but just the high points. So you can go through 4 books a day easily. So anyways, that's my rant for that. So.
Well, Greg, thanks so much for being on. Please connect with Katia. She'd like to have you on her podcast.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this.
Does weekly. And I just want to bring up one other thing. I see a lot of people that are real estate agents, and I go look at their LinkedIn, I look at their social media, and I see they've had like 4 or 5 careers before they became a real estate agent. And some of them actually will have done something in what they studied, what they went to school for, and then they go off on other tangents and they end up becoming a real estate agent. You can start off, I want to tell you, you can start off as a real estate agent. Greg was a real estate agent when he was in diapers.
Yeah, basically.
If you're looking for a way right now, I know a lot of Generation Z are living with their parents right now. This is your opportunity to go into a commission-based business, to go and you have that runway, the opportunity to grow your business. Take advantage of it now. Thomas Schaffer, welcome to the show. A regular with Rockstar Connect, went to the very first North Hills networking events 10 years ago, first Rockstar Connect events. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what is your advice to a graduate today? Should they go into your career? Unmute yourself, Tom. Can you unmute him?
I'm here. Okay. Good to be here again amongst all these wonderful people and great opinions. There's not a lot, I don't have a lot of new stuff to share for the new grad, but I'll get there in a minute. In my practice, I try to help people find or create new pathways, either prior to or during or after a transition or in change, right? So life is nothing but one transition after another. So the ability to be able to, in my career, to be able to help people be prepared or positioned, for the future is just, you're helping people every day. So it's a great career, and it's always going to be needed. But for grad, other than all the great things everybody else said, Greg and Diego, I would just say, don't be afraid to be different in your work ethic, because so many of your employers are expecting it to be difficult for you to get you to work. And most businesses are dying for employees that want to act with the passion like they own it. And that will accelerate their career phenomenally.
That's excellent. Actually, I spoke with someone from your company, someone up, in training, and he said, we got these guys in our office that they're sitting in their desk, they look the part, they look sharp, they're smart, they have the gift of the gab. But he said, the first thing I want to tell you that they're doing wrong, what are they doing wrong? They're sitting in their desk.
Right.
You can't be successful in any business just staying in your desk. I mean, now we can use a tool. We can make Zoom calls and everything else. But, we had a big event last week. Tom was at that event. You're not going to keep people down on the farm for long. People are going to be hitting the streets and sidewalks, and they're going to be going to events, and they're going to be knocking on doors. And, the only way doors open is if you knock.
Well, and this is a relationship. All these are relationship businesses. And, this video is, I wouldn't even classify it as a close second, but it's better than, nothing or a phone call, right?
Right. I mean, the best thing about this is it's going to allow us to stimulate the people that are here and the people that are watching to actually get on that phone call and make that personal connection. I mean, we're connecting people from this panel today, but you were 100% right. This is nothing like face-to-face networking and friend working and creating those relationships. Jenny Midgley, you're someone who started off as a social worker.
I am.
So you have a lot of advice to give to grads because you're in a totally different place right now.
Don't be a social worker. First piece of advice. No, that's not accurate. You have to have, if you want to be a social worker, so my advice to any graduate is whatever you do, take business courses. Like my first piece of advice is go into healthcare. Be a nurse, be a nurse practitioner, be a nurse, because then you can take that and work for hospital systems that will pay you to go to school and pay for your school to advance your degree. And then you can do things like go get your master's and become a nurse practitioner and become a physician, become a physician's assistant, whatever. But also take business classes, because as the baby boomers are aging, there is going to be a very, very large need for innovative and very creative healthcare solutions moving forward, and moving from a sick care system to a healthcare system. And that's what's happening right now. And you will have be ahead by leaps and bounds. So.
Well, I'll tell you something about social work, because I started off as a social worker. And what I learned in social worker is what's made me the salesperson that I am today. And I don't remember who set this straight, whether it was, a colleague or maybe it was my, my mentor, but they said, this is what social work is. Social versus other helping professions. You locate and you find all of the best options that are available in the world for your client. Then you reduce those options to the best options. You help them, you do the research, and then you assist them in choosing the best options.
Mm-hmm.
We're a facilitator. Social workers don't impose solutions. And that's ideally the way your sales should be. I mean, I know everyone that's here on this panel, that's the way they do their sales as well.
Mm-hmm.
Establishing what people's needs are. And when you satisfy their needs, then you satisfy all their wants.
Right. When you start from where they are at, right? Because that's the number one. Social work has a code of ethics for those that don't know. And the first thing is self-determination. You start where the client, patient, customer, consumer is at, and then you help them grow from there. So yes, I would absolutely say that sales is very much a linear parallel to that.
And we have some great social workers here on this panel then. Jackie, your business is graduates and helping graduates. What is your advice to people graduating today?
Well, I agree with taking business courses, because moving forward, we don't know what the future holds for these graduates. And so what I've been saying to them is to discover the inner entrepreneur within themselves, because it may be that in order to even begin a career, they're going to have to start a business of their own. It's going to be very challenging. The workforce is already challenging, but it's going to be increasingly challenging for these students who are graduating college now. And going back to what I heard earlier about the college degree really isn't that valuable anymore, I agree with that. However, I think the college degree, the undergraduate degree in particularly, is still important because it gets your foot in the door. It's now a requirement that actually doesn't guarantee you anything, but it positions you for many things. And so to even get a look at starting your own business, you need to have that foundation, I believe. Unless a lot of these young people are not that creative because they haven't taken the time to really do the research and explore the opportunities for them to become their own bosses and to start their own businesses. So my advice to them is to take this time to do some research and really look deep within yourself to see can I do? How can I take the knowledge that I've learned in college and turn that into a lucrative business for me moving forward?
Excellent. And if you guys aren't familiar with what Jacqueline does, she is the founder with her husband of the Derek Wittenburg Foundation, and they provide outright grants to young people that are going to university, not loans, no stipulation they have to pay it back, but actual grants, which are rarer and rarer these days. Thank you, Jackie.
Well, if I may, Steve, I'm sorry. I should have given that information at the very beginning. We actually help junior and senior college students complete an undergraduate degree by lowering their debt, by taking care of that tuition for them to complete that undergraduate degree. And as Stephen mentioned, it is 100% a grant, not a loan. And we work with these students moving forward with our contributors and supporters of the foundation to go to the next level, whether it's into the workforce or on to graduate studies.
Excellent. You distributed over $500,000 in grants last year?
We're actually celebrating our 5th anniversary of the foundation, launched by my husband and I in in June of 2015. And in 4.5 years, we've been able to award $500,000 in need-based academic scholarships. And we've helped 100 students in the Triangle area, colleges and universities here, including NC State, Wake Tech. There are a lot of international students there. Because we don't do federal grants, we're able to help those international students who are actually going on into some of the 4-year colleges. We work with Meredith College, St. Augustine's University, Shaw University, William Peace University, and we're just adding UNC Wilmington this year. So we're really excited about that. Our goal is to reach every college and university in the UNC system, because there's a great need, and even more so now as a result of COVID-19. There are students that are going to be forced to either drop out of college because of financial hindrances, and we don't want that to happen. And so we are trying to cover as much base and help as many students as we can possibly help. And I am thrilled that we're going to be able to do that in an even bigger way this year with more support.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for all that information. We're going to drop Jackie's information into the chat if you would like to reach out to make a contribution or learn more about what her great organization does. Norma Hollis, welcome to the show. Norma.
Okay, I'm unmuting.
Yeah,
hi, Stephen.
I watched a little bit of you with Les Brown this week.
Yes, Les Brown did a wonderful interview on me. I'm having an event next Saturday, and we are old friends for some time ago. So he did a great event talking about coronavirus, as he calls Corona Land, and all the things we're doing and the frustrations people are feeling regarding it. Yeah.
So with your great perspective as an internationally known coach, what advice would you give graduates today?
Well, my information and my advice is grounded on the perspective that graduation is a real transition of values. Because what happens when you're in your 20s and just getting started in life, you're starting life pretty much with the values that you learned from your family, and they may or may not be your own values. So one of the things I recommend to graduates is to take time and know who you are, and have the opportunity. There's a quote also from Steve Jobs: "Don't let the noise of others drown out your inner voice." So the ability to listen to the voice that's within, and that's from two perspectives. One is the perspective of values and who you spend your time with. And I suggest that you spend time with people who celebrate you and not those that just tolerate you. And it's a big difference. When you make a choice of a career, you kind of have two basic paths to go in. One is the path of, following the money, and one's the path of following the social work angle. Now, both also provide money depending on how you do it. But there are different energies with each style. So knowing yourself and which energy path you want to follow is really very, very important. And then secondly, to know what your gifts and talents are. Take time to really know who you are and what you bring to the world. As I mentioned last week on the call, that research shows that people in nursing homes, their number one regret is they didn't live the life of their authenticity. They lived someone else's life, someone else's view of who they should be. So take the time in your 20s while you're adjusting to being an adult, you're adjusting to identifying what your values are, you're adjusting to figure out, well, what are these next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years going to be like? And you have no idea how long that actually is. But trust me, you'll enjoy it more if you go into a career path. An entrepreneurial one is a great one. You can use your talents in so many ways. But the main thing is going to a path of something that you really enjoy.
That's fantastic. We sort of discussed that last week, how I worked with the elderly, and working with them and seeing the regret that they had is what pushed me on the career path that I'm on. Many people don't understand what it is to be an entrepreneur, and really you are being your authentic self, and you're taking absolute control of your destiny. I was advising someone this week who is going to be going into a very difficult financial situation, and they've only worked for other people, and they're thinking of looking to go find a job. And I said, well, the difference with an entrepreneur, if they're in the same situation, they're going to sit down and say, how can I make money? Like, where is the money to be had? Where am I going to ferret that money out? And what can I exchange for that money?
Right. That's so true. And the exchange has to be something that you're willing to do. That's why I be on people who celebrate you and don't just tolerate you, because they can help guide you to the right things that maybe you can't see because of your youth. But take the advice of those that are older than you and more experienced and who really have your best interest at heart.
That's terrific. I love whenever you have something to add, because it's always very high quality. We appreciate you, Norma.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Domenic, I know you have some advice for graduates, and then we're going to go to you, Robert.
Lots of advice for graduates. I hate to repeat what's already been said about hard work and work ethic, but that seems to be one of the hardest things.
Maybe you have a hack for a graduate. Maybe there's something that they can move forward a little more quickly.
There's no substitute for jumping in and fully dedicating yourself to things. Now, it doesn't mean if you fully dedicate yourself to one thing, you're not open up to other opportunities, but it does mean that other opportunities are more likely to present themselves if you are fully dedicated and working your tail off. If you're getting into business after graduation, if that's something that you want to do, I would say that start building your professional network now. Forget about using social media as a way to share jokes and funny videos and things like that. Build yourself up a professional network there. Network with the people in your community. Start interning, getting mentors, learning from them how to do business, and eventually opportunities are going to come your way, and you have to be prepared to accept them, and you have to be prepared to acknowledge that they're actually opportunities, and follow them, and then be dedicated to those as you follow them. So I would say having a strong work ethic and starting to build yourself up a strong professional network of people that you can rely on and people that you can have as a mentor.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you came to it, you said you weren't going to bring anything new, but I think you did. Because of social media, I've been able to reconnect with a lot of people I went to high school with and a lot of people that I went to college with. I recognize, boy, I missed a lot of opportunities to keep that bridge over all these years, and waiting decades to reconnect with them. They would have been great opportunities. So the network is very important. I have a concept that I would like to share with graduates myself. I call it the squeaky wheel. The squeaky wheel always gets the oil. So a lot of people are used to just going on LinkedIn and applying for jobs and going to the job sites. Well, there are a lot of algorithms now that eliminate you immediately. People don't know who you are. You just hit the right part of the algorithm and you get an interview. I always, when I wanted a position, I made a pain in the ass of myself. I literally kept on banging on the door of that place and said that I wanted to work there until they hired me. And the same thing when I would hire people. I didn't really care so much about their resume or their experience or anything else. It's just that they kept on bothering me to get a job, I would eventually say, hey, this person, they really want it, and give them a shot. So that's my advice to graduates. You know, Robert Hayek and I, we think a lot alike. You know, we don't hold anything back. We're not censored, right, Robert?
Well, tenacity will win all the time.
Right. So we think
Tenacious
alike.
and you fired up and you go after it, you'll get it. I mean, I didn't go to school. I actually didn't even graduate high school. But one thing that, if you know me, tell me no. Tell me I can't do something. Tell me it won't work, and I'll make sure it does. Because I'm extremely tenacious when it comes to that. So you got to be willing to make changes. You got to be flexible, and you just got to put your head to the grindstone and work and make it happen.
Right. And that hard work pays off all the time. 100%.
And one thing about Bob, he's one of our top advisors. So I'm telling you, what he's saying, he actually does. So he's not just spurting his mouth off you. He actually does it. He goes out and does it.
100%. And that's the way the people are here that are on this panel. I mean, they are persistent people, and persistent people are memorable people, and memorable people are given opportunities. And, you know, of course, you have to be memorable for the right things. Clint Webb. Oh,
Okay. So as a lot of you already know, my daughter just graduated high school and she's about to go into college. And, you know, a couple of things that, you know, how much teenagers listen to their parents. So, but what I've told her is, number one, don't be afraid to fail, because you're going to learn more from your failures than you are from your successes. Number two, surround yourself with the right people. I know that's echoed on here today, but you know, if you have 5 amazing people in your group, you're going to be the 6th. If you have 5 idiots in your group, you're going to be the 6th. So make sure you surround yourself with the right people. Don't be afraid to take a no, and just don't be afraid to fail, and get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And what I've told her to do, and what she has actually listened to me. So this is it's a miracle, you guys. But I told her to join Toastmasters at UNC Charlotte when she goes, and she has already signed up. She's super excited and kind of nervous. So I'm excited for her for that, because she's stepping out of her comfort zone, and I think she's going to grow tremendously from that.
Excellent, guys. And Tom is a big Toastmaster person. So do you vote for Toastmasters? You give it a thumbs up, Tom? Thumbs up. Mark Roberts, Mark, it says Tiffany in front of your name, and I did see Tiffany earlier, so I think you're subbing in.
Yeah, we've been tag teaming. We blew the AC, so we're up here in the studio, and it's a wee bit warm, shall we say.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So as she gets lightheaded, we kind of jump out.
It's all on you now to counsel the youth of the world. What is your advice to the newly graduated?
Outstanding. What I would let people know is you have to stay curious. You have to enjoy the ride. And if you do that, life is going to take you in an awful lot of fun, interesting turns and twists. And if you think you know everything, well, one, you're wrong. And you're going to miss out on an awful lot of things. So that would be the quick down and dirty. You do that, an awful lot of good things are going to come to you.
Well, that was very good stuff. When Tiffany comes on, we'd like to hear what she has to say too. I always love coming, I love having great coaches on the show, like Norma and Katia and Greg and Noah, because they always have a great perspective on this. I mean, this is what they do for a living, is give people advice and coach them. Noah, what is your advice to the newly graduated? What should they be doing now, especially what we're going through right now?
Hi, everyone. So what comes into mind is that many times when I work with people and they start a conversation with me at the beginning, they will say, so there is this way or the other way. So I'm stuck. And so, it might be I need to stay in, keep studying, or I need to find a job. And I always invite to think about the third solution or the fourth solution or the fifth solution. So I love the conversation here today because it's about breaking the norms. And one of the things that showed up in different ways, but I would like to even build on that, is to maybe not find a job, but find a person that you can learn from consistently and work with. For example, my daughter is still in high school, but she's intern for me, working with, and I tap on her shoulder and push her to do the things that she feels uncomfortable. She feels very comfortable writing, but when I asked her to explore social media, she pushed back. And I think this generation never experienced, we as the X, at least I am the X generation, we went through 2 bubbles, right? So we experienced what we have right now. It's not the first time we go through that kind of experience of not sure what's going to happen with our lives and economical situation, but this generation haven't. We really made sure everything is very comfortable for them. So working with someone that will tap on your shoulder and say, stretch yourself, do something you feel uncomfortable, even not for money, that will be worth a lot of money, because you can learn from a course and sit in front of a screen, a virtual screen, virtual experience or face-to-face experience. I can tell you, I do have MBA. Did it help me with my business? No. What helped me was to fail and go through a lot of hurdles again and again and again, that I can have a successful business. But I did and still do a lot of mistakes. And every time I think that's it, there is a new challenge. And we all who haven't experienced that, every time you think you climb the mountain, there is another mountain we give ourselves to climb. Just make sure you climb on the mountains that you want to climb. So there are always more than 2 options. So if you're stuck with 2 options, you need to go and start asking yourself, what will be the 3rd and 4th and 5th option for me? Because you probably will find there that there are other solutions.
That's fantastic. And you mentioned, the 2 bubbles that we went through as Gen X. We also had a pandemic too. We had AIDS.
Now. Yeah.
There's sort of some correlation. And, we've been pretty hard on millennials, and probably we were getting ready to be harder on Gen Z, because they are even, they were even more cushioned than millennials. But I have a feeling right now, Gen Z, they're having the hardest time of any generation in my lifetime. I would not trade place with someone who's graduating right now at all. And we're dependent on them to see the way our society goes in so many ways. I mean, some of them are going to be voting now in the next election, and they're going to be determining the businesses that we're going to have in the future and the laws and everything else. And, they just, COVID-19 and everything that's associated with it. I don't know how I would have dealt with it when I was 15 or 16. My daughter is 17 and my other daughter is 10, and they're doing fantastic. But I know that this is very stressful, a very hard time for them. Katia, you have a lot of kids. Not a lot of kids. You have kids. She has 1,242 kids.
I have 3 kids and 3 stepkids. And
close.
Yeah, I'm pretty close. I always said I wouldn't want someone to have me speak to graduation. I think it's been 3 years in a row that I said that, because I'm a speaker and I actually get hired to speak. And I was hoping nobody would ever ask me. I don't think they would like me. I would tell them then, you know what, you've been lied to. just because you participate, you show up, that will not give you an award. And this is not how it works in real life. And they all have this mentality. They show up, they get the award, you know, they get handed everything. And I know we have to be kind with them, and we have to, I know what they're going through right now is tough, but you know what, the world is tough. And they just need to get in the wagon. We all had something like that. We didn't have COVID, but we had something different. And I believe that they are not equipped for what's coming up. If they come to their job and they just show up, and they're going to be, first of all, they're going to have a hard time showing up on time. If the job starts before noon, they're going to have a really hard time. They all have been, especially even more right now, all these teenagers are just sleeping until noon, and they are just going into these, you know, classes whenever they want, and they're doing these schedule whenever they want. And I have no clue what it's going to be into the workforce, but really, like, I think they're about to wake up like it's not even funny, you know, when they go to work.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, in our house, we had a you know, a coming to Jesus moment, or whatever they call it, with our younger child, and we said, you know, what time would you normally be getting on the bus to go to school? I know we don't have school now, but what time would that be? She said, well, 7:30. I said, well, then you must be out of your bed here in this house at 8 o'clock in the morning. And further, you need to make our coffee.
Good for you.
So
I mean,
she's making the pot of coffee, because, and I love what Noah's doing, you know, with her child as an intern, because if this is going to be, you know, the family unit, we're all going to be in the same house and working.
Yeah.
We all have to contribute to the same goals. We should be learning skills that we can utilize later in our life. This is our opportunity as parents for wherever we failed before to teach our kids things, and we took no responsibility and passed that responsibility on to other people.
Right.
We can now take that responsibility again.
Correct.
And you know what? Our kids may be able to teach us something too.
I think so. I think it goes both ways. But I mean, for me, I look at it and they're getting paid to make their bed. They're getting paid. They're going to have a harsh reality when it's minimum wage. I mean, not. I see Noah going, no, I'm a pure immigrant, and in my house, it really doesn't happen. But, you know, I know a lot of I fight for that with other, you know, with my kids because of other parents. And like, it's going to be a really hard reality. And I do believe that they're going to have to be exceptional to really set themselves apart. And
yeah, I mean, you have to, if you're going to be giving your kids money, you have to, you know, get something of value back.
Yes.
You got to teach them.
So
you know, our daughter, we don't give an allowance. You know, they have everything they needed provided to them. But our daughter wanted to play a video game that was $5, and I said I gave her a day of tasks for that $5.
Yeah.
And really, and now she knows how to do it, and she knows how to do it well. And I was very impressed with the quality of work that she did. So, you know, she's 10, a long time till she graduates, but you know, we're working on that now. You know, we have two really great guests today on the program. We have Shaun J. and we have Greg McDaniel. Shaun J., I'm not going to tell you what he does. I mean, maybe some of you have seen him before, or you saw him last week on the panel, but Shaun's going to give us a little bit of lessons utilizing his particular skill. Let's see if you can figure it out. Shaun, we're not hearing you. For some reason, we don't hear Shaun.
Now, can you?
Yes, absolutely. We can hear you now.
I'm back. You guys, thumbs up if you can hear me?
Thumbs up, we can hear you.
Thumbs up if you can hear me. Great, great, great. So what I do is I take 17 years of practice and no social life, and I combine it with interaction. Now, what I do is I keep these virtual meetings engaging and interactive through sleight of hand magic. I've been doing this for 17 years of my life. I was one of the few people that started my passion young. I found my passion. I've been pursuing it ever since. And I was doing lots of live events until recently. And now I've completely transformed my space here into a broadcast studio. So I can make virtual events more interactive, increase the retention, make them less boring, change up the format a little bit. And then also I want companies to weave in message of like an all-day event, and I keep it light, and I keep the interaction up, take it up another level. And actually, if I could, just to kind of give you an example of what this would be like, hey, Norma, can you unmute yourself for a second?
Sure.
Okay, good to hear you. I'm going to show you, I'm going to spread through these cards here, and hope you guys can see that, right, Norma? That should be pretty clear for you.
Yes.
Okay, so in a moment, I'm going to have you just think of any one of those cards through the computer screen. Don't make it this one because that's obvious. I might be trying to make you pick that card. So as I spread through, just remember one of those cards and tell me once you've memorized one of them in your mind.
All right.
Okay, so you have one in your mind. You're the only person here on the call right now that knows what that card is.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to try through your imagination to make the one card that you're thinking of, it's going to turn invisible. And there's a fine line between imagination and reality. I'm here to blur those lines just a little bit. Done. The one that you are thinking of is now invisible. It's going to rise up, 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 up. Where I catch it right here for the first time. Norma, what was the card that you were thinking of? Go ahead.
7 of diamonds.
Boom, there it is. I just showed you the other side. That is indeed the 7 of diamonds. You have to believe me. I know you just think this is just a silly thing. I'm just messing around. But I'm actually not. It's really here. I'm going to take the 7 of diamonds. I'm going to flip it over. So now it's like this. Push it back. Just imagine that I'm doing that. I'm pushing it back inside the middle of the deck. So now there should be one card. You're not going to believe this. It's actually flipped over. Not the 7 of spades, but there's one card here. All of the rest of them are face up. This is the only one that's face down. Like I said, that was imagination, Norma, but this is reality.
Pretty good.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's a great allusion to reality. Can we do that in real life?
Great minds think alike, I think.
Great, thank you.
That's what I do.
Okay.
Excellent.
For your help.
And so you usually do this in person. You've done it at some of our networking events.
Yeah.
Where can people see you online? And how can they get in touch with you?
You can see both online and on TV. Actually, this summer there's a really cool show on Channel 22, the CW network. It's called Masters of Illusion, and it's on every Friday night all summer long. I'll be on several times over the summer. I was on last season. They invited me back for this season. So they're going to be showing one of my episodes again this upcoming Thursday. So just in a couple days, I'll be on 9:30 to 10 o'clock, and then more over the summer. And if you want to learn more, you can just visit my website, which I'll drop down in the chat, and ShaunJMagic.com. And I do this at virtual events because people are doing these things all the time, and they need a stress-relieving break. They need a way to release all of the tension and just lighten up a little bit because it's a tense world right now. I think we all can agree. It's very tense.
100%. And it's a great way to release tension.
Yeah.
And Greg, are you ready for us? So I thought it would be perfect for you to be after Shaun because...
Oh, I got to follow that? Are you kidding me?
I'm sure that you're really into that.
God.
So Greg is probably going to introduce you to about 10 people over the next week. I would venture to say Greg is an incredible connector, and he knows exactly who needs who in business needs to help relieve other people's stress. So Greg runs one of the, if not the #1 real estate podcast in the country for real estate agents. Like real estate agents absolutely dig Greg because he gives us free nuggets of information that we can use in our business all the time. And he expects absolutely nothing in return. He comes completely from giving. And he likes to bring to the show some technology that you can use when you're doing your virtual events or you're doing a podcast or everything else. What fun stuff do you have for us right now, Greg?
I think I talked about it before, but if you're going to be doing a virtual event, there's this little guy that I use quite a bit. It's called a gimbal. This is the DJI Gimbal 3. You can turn it up, you put your phone in it. I'll show you guys how to do this in a second. But the reason why I'm going to suggest the DJI Gimbal 3 is because you can attach it to a tripod here. And then once you activate they have a facial tracking system built into this. So instead of being stagnant and sitting down, you can be standing up, have a lavalier attached to you. There's a lab that I use. You guys have seen it before. It's called the Rode Smart Lab. It's about 70, 80 bucks. And then this long cord here is about a 30-foot extension cord. You can plug it directly in. So I'll show you exactly what I mean by this. So you get your phone, and DJI is very nice. They give you little instructions here on exactly which way to point the camera so you don't look like an idiot. You attach it onto this, you pop it up, right? Now it's just going to dangle and be all weird for a second. I'm going to power it up. You're going to watch it come to life. And then I'm going to rotate it, right? And then now I'm not going to do the software right now, but this thing, you can shoot really smooth shots throughout like properties, your neighborhood, your family, your kids, your dog, your goldfish, whatever you want. But once you put it attached here, you attached your mic and your long cord, you can now walk, you can pace back and forth. You can show things off. You can go from a whiteboard to a desk. You can move around your space. And people will think you have a film crew with you when you have a $119 to $120 piece of equipment is the gimbal DJI 3. It's a power source right here. There's a power source here. So if your phone is low, you can plug your phone in and the DJI will power it up for you. You can shoot stories on this thing. Of a story mode you can pick from, which is really pretty cool because it'll create really cool stories for Instagram and Facebook. They'll put the music, they'll shoot everything for you. Just follow the instructions. The first time I did it, I shot it wrong and it looked horrible. So just make sure you choose wisely on your stories. But with that small investment, so you got 120 plus an 80, you're a couple $100 deep into this thing, and you're going to have people are going to think that you have a film crew when you're running an event. So, Shaun, for you could easily take this, shoot this, move around, and go from act to act to act in 3 different segments or whatever you're going to do. People are going to think you get a whole production crew behind you. It's very, very simple. If you want good audio, now this is my reserve mic. This is the ATR 2500. It's a table mic. It's like what you'd see on like Jimmy Kimmel or whatever. You pick a late night show guy. They have these on the desks. Now, this is my go-to mic. If you want just good audio, this is the ATR 2100. The cool thing is that you plug in your power and your headphones directly here. There is literally, this is your only cord you need, is a USB, a micro USB. You plug those things in, it's instantly connected. You'll have phenomenal audio if you're going to start doing more and more stuff. And this is about a $60 mic. I have 2 of them plus the ATR 2500 here. So with some of that tech, guys, I mean, you'll be able to start doing these digitals on a consistent basis. The last but not least is I'll turn this off so you guys can see it. Choose background, none. Boom, welcome.
You drop the name, like the model name of each in the chat would be great.
Sure, yeah, it's 3 letters, ATR, and then the numbers of either 2100 or 2500, but I'll put them in the chat for everybody.
And the gimbal as well.
Oh, the gimbal, yeah, the DJI Gimbal 3.
Okay.
Look at the reviews. I stalked it on YouTube for like 2 weeks. Nothing but amazing reviews on this thing. It's ergonomically correct in your hand. It's the only one that folds down, so it's compact. It's super lightweight. I mean, you can shoot with this thing forever. It's a great thing. And then for everyone who's getting into this stuff, I have one of these on each side of me, which are my, it's a company. Go to Amazon. And again, I'll post this stuff. I'll post links to all of these things in the comments, guys, so you can have them. It's a company called Limo, like you drive in a Limo Studios, and it's a 3-light setup. So you get the umbrellas, the light bulbs, the stands, and a carrying case for like $60. It's just it's just a phenomenal opportunity. Since we're all shooting at home these days or shooting in different environments, make sure that you have good audio, good light, and then think out and be a little bit creative when it comes to kind of new tech and just have fun shooting this stuff. But those are just a few of the things I'm playing with now, not to mention some of the stuff that we're launching out with marketing, with geofencing. And I'll go get into that at another time and kind of what we're seeing. We launched out to 1,414 properties. We launched a geofence around their property. A geofence is just an electronic fence that's invisible. And we pinged all the electronic devices in there for half a month. We dropped over 500,000 impressions for under $2,000. I mean, you can do it all. It's insanity town. Nobody's doing this type of stuff. And we're launching another 18,000 person campaign today on local, homeowners doing cold text messaging with a company called Clever Leads that I can connect you guys with. That this guy's a master marketer. He's absolutely insane. And we did a light launch yesterday, and I already have another person. Every time I do a launch with them, I get someone who's interested in selling, and I've spent a couple $100 max. So.
Yeah, Greg is cutting edge. Every company in the country, sends information to him so he can check it out first. He was one of the first Rockstar Connect hosts, hosting an event for 3 years. We really appreciate him. And I noticed that all the panelists were writing stuff down there. So
I'll be happy. If anyone wants to DM me on Facebook, just look for this ugly mug with a microphone jammed in my face as per normal. I'd be happy to do video chat, send you any kind of links that you guys want. Anything that I can do to help you, just go ahead and send me a friend request. I actually got rid of about almost 300 friends which was dead. They were dead wood. And you can do that. There's a really cool thing called Friend Filter, and I'll send you guys a link to that as well. And it goes through and it analyzes all your Facebook, who's active, who's inactive, and you can do a mass delete for everyone who hasn't done any interaction with you in the last 90 days or whatever, segment you want to set up. So then you can bring more friends in that are going to be actually interactive and build your algorithm, and you'll get more visibility.
That's a great product. Thanks so much, Greg. If someone wants to watch your podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, where would they see it? How would they find it?
Sure, guys, look for this. This is Real Estate Uncensored. This is the logo that you would look for. You can find me everywhere. You can find me on YouTube. You can friend me on Facebook. You can watch it live there. Go to iTunes or any of your favorite podcasting areas, and then you can just type in Real Estate Uncensored, look for the logo I just showed you, and just start following us and give us your thoughts. It's a lot of fun. There is sometimes a blue streak that comes out of my mouth. I am the uncensored version of Real Estate Uncensored. So if you can handle it, come on and hang out. We have a lot of laughs. We have a great time. We bring intelligent, guests in that are just absolutely awesome to listen to.
It's not just real estate. It's about marketing in general. It's a value to anyone. It's a great show. I watch it whenever I can because, luckily I'm friends with Greg on Facebook. I haven't been filtered out. And I see it right in his Rockstar Connect group as well. Hey, guys, we're near the end of the program. I really appreciate you all being here today and sharing all this information for our grads, but I think that it goes way beyond that. It was great material and information for all of us, and it allowed us to do a kickstart and a restart. And I know everyone watching the program today will be invigorated and hit the road running tomorrow. Everyone, please check out our sponsors, referral book, support them. And, they're going to continue to support us. We'll see you next week, Tuesday, 2 to 4 p.m. For those of you in the Raleigh area, we do have an event coming up on the 27th, face-to-face, an actual physical 3 martini lunch, and you really have to check that out. We'll get that information to you. Everybody raise your hand and wave goodbye, and we'll see you next week on 3 martini lunch. Thank you all. We value.
Thank you. Good luck to all graduates.
Thank you. Good luck to all the graduates.
Well.